And first thing on our agenda is public hearings. So if anybody's here to speak to that, this is your opportunity. First item on our public hearing is annexing property at the corner of Ben Gamble Road and State Route 81 Highway North upon request of the property owner. Anyone here to speak to that? Yes, sir.
I think it's just here to get it brought in the city so we can have sewer services and city services.
Okay, we appreciate that.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Next item on the agenda is ordinance replacing in the municipal code, Title 13, Chapter 2, sewer and wastewater treatment in its entirety. Anyone here to speak to that? Okay, very good. Now we'll move into our regular meeting. We'll start with an opening prayer from Vice Mayor Dixon.
Let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for another day that you've allowed us to see. And God, we just have so much to be thankful for. And God, even in the difficult times going on around the globe, we thank you for the community in which we live. We thank you for the air to breathe. We thank you for health. We thank you for strength. We thank you for life. God, we just thank you just for all of your wonderful blessings that you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for our neighbors. We thank you for a sense of camaraderie. We thank you for the peace that you have provided. God, we have so much to be grateful for. Lord, we do ask that on this evening you guide our meeting and our deliberations. We ask, God, that as servants we continue, God, to help our neighbors, because that's what you see, that we should love our neighbor as we love ourselves. And we ask it all be done to your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Ruth, who do you have tonight?
Karen Childress.
It's face to flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Karen. All right, I appreciate everybody coming out to the meeting tonight. Had to delay it for a week, but looks like that was fine. We have some good reasons to do that, but some important things to get done tonight. Madam Recorder, roll call, please.
Mayor
Here.
Alderman Callahan.
Here.
Alderman Halsey.
Here.
Alderman Countermine.
Here.
Alderman Dixon.
Here.
All right, we're all here, and I think we have a few personnel appointments that came into us for our wastewater and sewer departments that would have come in. We need to add those 4 items. Is that correct, Glenn?
I didn't count.
Yeah, 4 items to the consent agenda. 4.
There's 4 under, after the memorandum of October 15, recognizing some grades, and then, yeah, there's 4. I'll go with 4.
Okay, that's what I counted. Alderman, you got any questions about those? If not, I'll take a motion to add those to the consent agenda.
So move.
Motion to approve from Alderman Callahan, second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Halsey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. We added those to our consent agenda. Now, Alderman, is there anything in our consent agenda you wish to have pulled to discuss?
I'd like to pull 7E, 1 to 4, and all those that we just added for
All
discussion.
Okay. All right, I'll take a motion to approve consent agenda minus 7E, 1, 2, 3, and 4, plus the 4 additional ones we just added to the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I got a motion to approve from Alderman Callahan, a second from Alderman Dixon. Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Halsey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
All right, motion carried. Now we can discuss 7E and then the 4 additional ones we added. Virginia, I'll give the floor to you on that.
Okay, on 7E1, I would like to add that I don't mind, we make a motion that Josh is promoted to the 10, step 12, plus the 3%, but to add that in the event that he decides he wants to come back to the town crew, unless there is an opening, he won't be able to come back. He needs to understand that there has to be an opening if he wants to come back to the town crew. And he'll come back at the present rate of what he's paying, or making now, and the same grade.
Okay, what else in that, Virginia? Is that the only one you had in there?
Do you want to take each one?
Well, I guess so. Glenn, do you want to speak to that, or Craig? Or I guess
we
we're moving him over there to be a construction supervisor at the greater pay, so there's I guess when all that's said and done, he might have to come back to the town in his current position. Is that what you're thinking, Virginia?
That's what they're proposing. They come back to the current position, which is fine. But if there's not an opening, there's no place for him to go if he wants to.
Two that requested the transfer that the employees made, and they understand that it's a 4-year commitment, and if they come back, it would be that there was a position available for them to come back to, and certainly with him going over as a construction supervisor, unless there was a current vacancy for construction supervisor he would come back as just an equipment operator. And they both that requested the transfer understand that.
But I would agree, so it's the onset of doing this, the great plan and having a great agreement with the county. The only caveat is the agreement was for 4 years, as we're discussing. So I don't want to say that there's an expiration date on it, because we're hoping that the expectations is it'll hit a grand slam and we'll continue to go forth and continue to provide potable water to more underserved or areas that really need healthy drinking water. But that's probably a matter of administration policy. Those who are transferring from kind of say the normal, what we would normally be saying, the department water distribution, over to call it the county crew or county line extensions, that we probably just need to have that. We're speaking about it to them, but probably more of an acknowledgement that they understand.
I had talked with Mr. Ford and Mr. Rosenoff and Mr. Brobeck. I just wanted it on record.
Sure.
Well, the way it's written is that should it be moved for any reason, his pay would return to his time and grade as an equipment operator 3 certified within the town's compensation plan. So it sounds like the way it's written, we are somewhat guaranteeing him a position when if for some reason he discontinues that service there. I don't have an issue with that, because I think we're always going to need people there. But is that?
We just need to make sure money's there to pay for an additional employee.
Right, yeah, we'd have to just address, what our growth potential is and whether or not there is openings. Again, our hope is that it's going to be a phenomenal program, which we believe it will be, and it'll be continued. But again, there is an agreement for 4 years.
Yeah. Well, we want people that's experienced to go onto that crew, so it's good that he's stepped forward and wanted to do that.
That's been the number one priority, that you got to hit the ground running. And I know we say that quite a bit about different positions, but this is one of those crews that has to actually literally do it. There's not a bunch of backup.
So Virginia, you're just wanting clarification on what would happen.
Just clarification because the agenda presentation was not clarified that if there is an opening or if we're going to create a position.
Yeah.
So
do we want to just put it in there that we'll have a position for him if that ever discontinues? I mean, for me, I prefer.
that's what we had talked about.
Okay.
If there's an opening.
Okay. What if there's not an opening?
I can address that.
He wouldn't have a job.
So if there's not an opening, and I don't have the personnel handbook in front of me, then you start looking at potentially the language about layoffs or the actions that you would take if there's not if that position is no longer happening. So, yeah, right, if it becomes vacant for some reason, be the same way if you went from 16 police officers and we decided later on 14 would be not enough, but if you went with 14, then you have two positions that you have to figure out whether or not to fund them or not to, so that's probably more of a, not a workshop necessarily, but probably more of a personnel handbook to look over and take that scenario.
By then, we'll probably be ready to fund them, but it
Sure.
just needs to be clarified.
Right.
All right. Do we need to put that in a motion or anything, or is that just, you wanted that into discussion, Virginia?
I would,
You have a motion. She's already made a motion,
Okay.
so you're ready for a
So
second.
that's a motion just to tell Josh basically if he, leaves that crew, he might or might not have a job when he comes back? Yeah.
Again, that would be for both. There's two that's actually.
There's two
replacing
transfers.
So
Yeah.
it would be for
All right.
both of those.
And do we want that?
I guess we've already said it.
Okay.
But I would go ahead and include it just in case
All right. You
board
got a-
action later on, we would go back to the history of the minutes and
Okay.
reflect what Alderwoman Causey commented on.
All right, you got a motion there that would, for the employees that are going over to the Water County Water Line crew, that if they cease that position with that Washington County crew, that they might or might not have a position when they return. Is that, okay, you got a motion on that. Anyone want to second that?
Second.
A second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion on that? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Calamone. Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right. Motion carried. All right, Virginia, what's your next one there?
Okay, 73 is fine the way it is. We can, then 7E4 is where we're going into the water worker one, and Mr. Ford will probably address this, but where he's going to change the water worker one to be a grade 3. When they get their CDLs, they'll go to an equipment operator 5. So he was going to move him up to equipment operator at a grade 5, step 5, instead of 3-9.
That's after he gets the CDL?
He has a CDL.
Okay.
So I make a motion that 7E4, Greg Wilson be hired at a grade 5, step 5. Because he does have CDL.
All right, Alderman, you got a motion on the table?
Second.
Second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion there? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Calamone. Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Then, on the one where we're moving Anthony Garrett, Brian Atkins, Mike Hudson, Larry Garce, because they do have CDLs, Mr. Ford's moving those up to the grade 5 in the same step that they're in. I'd like to make a motion to accept all of those recommendations as Mr. Ford has done.
Okay, Alderman, you hear that motion?
I'll second.
Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Calamone.
Aye.
That motion carries. All right, Virginia, on a roll. Keep it going.
Okay, and on 7E2, I skipped over that one. I make a motion that we transfer Chris Brummett with the same stipulation that if he decides he wants to come back, that if there's a job opening, he can come back to his same grade and step that he was in whenever he left.
But if not,
If not, then that's up to,
okay.
whether
All
they
right.
want to create a position, I guess.
All right, Alderman, you heard a motion for 7E2, which is the similar motion as E1.
Second.
Second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
7E3, Tate Smith. Make a motion that we go ahead and appoint him to it's the county crew at grade 3-7. He has a Class A CDL permit. When he gets his permit, then Mr. Ford,
License,
yeah, his license, then he'll go to a grade 5.
yes, ma'am.
All right, so the recommendation is grade 3, step 7. But since he's got his CDL, you're recommending grade 5?
No, when he gets his CDL, he only has a permit now. That's what
Okay, his
Mr.
permit,
Ford and I
all right.
discussed, yeah.
Okay, then he will move to a step, grade 5 once he gets his CDL license. Okay, Alderman, you got a motion on the table?
Second.
Second from Alderman Callahan. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
I just have one thing that I would like to say, and Mr. Ford's already addressed this, but our supervisors need to realize that if they have drivers that do not have CDLs, they cannot be in those big trucks, because if, in the event that they have to move it or something and they have an accident, then the town's liable.
Right. Okay. Did we get them all there, Virginia?
Did we got one more, Derek Smith. Just make a motion to approve the recommendation of Derek Smith at a grade 3, step 1, water worker 1 on the county crew.
Okay, Alderman, got a motion on the table?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
I'm sorry, who made the motion?
Virginia,
Okay.
and seconded by
Adam.
Adam.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
I'm sorry. There may be one more this Turner. He's not on that list either. That was in the second little packet as well.
James Turner, is he, he's going to your crew?
Derek Smith is going to the town crew also.
Okay, I'm sorry. Need to amend the motion on that one. He's going to the town crew, Donna. And then also James Turner. He's going to your town crew? Okay. And Bobby Harrell. But he was already on the consent, right? Bobby Harrell was. We've already got him, so
Okay.
James Turner, we need to make a motion to approve James Turner going to the water worker 1 on the town crew.
Okay.
Did I get them all?
Alderman?
Murray, did you get Murray?
Hmm.
Did you do Bernard Murray?
Was he already on the consent?
He was one you added tonight for equipment operator.
The 4 additional ones.
Oh, yeah, right here.
Yes, ma'am.
So is that one voted on already?
He was the equipment operator too, that was the add-on.
Okay.
Bernard Murray, that's grade 7, step 8, is that right?
Yes, sir.
That was an addition to the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Make a motion to appoint Bernard Murray to equipment operator 2, grade 7, 8, to the county crew.
All right, Alderman, got a motion on the table?
Second.
Second from Alderman Callahan. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Motion carried. that the last one, Virginia?
That's it.
All right. When I go ask for a raise, I'm taking Virginia with me. Very good. Well, and one thing we did as a board too, in our, compensation plan is really lifted the pay of our starting grades or our entry-level employees. I think that's something we had as a goal for a board for many years, and we finally got that done. So our starting pay is much better now, and from what I've heard, it's probably better than what they have in our big city, Johnson City. So appreciate you, board. All right. Now we're going to move into our regular agenda. The first item on the report's our financial report. And with the absence of Abby, Alderman, has anyone got any comments about our financial report? One thing I'll say is, I always say it during the mayor's comments, but Glenn knows I like to keep up with our sales tax collections, and we came through with our first month for this fiscal year with another record sales tax collections for Jonesborough. It was the largest in our town's history again. So we're on a row, and be honest with you, with that's probably about almost 3 years in a row where we've had such a strong sales tax dollar collections, and that comes through growth in our community, and it comes from people shopping local. And I tell you, when I come, it probably was a little more than a year ago. You was walking downtown, you're concerned about everybody, but I tell you what, we shop local, and our business has adapted and really became stronger. And walking downtown now, it's really impressive what our businesses there are doing, and really in the ones on 11E as well. So there's a great vibrancy out there, and it's going to continue. So, $222,000 for that month was a 22% increase over last year, which was probably another 15% over that year before. So some great numbers. So thank you to the community for supporting our town and the businesses. And really for the year last year, we finished up in sales tax collections over 15%. So that's very healthy numbers, and if we can do that again, we'll have a little more flexibility to do some great things for the community. So appreciate that. So Alderman, if no more comments, I'll take a motion to approve the financial report.
So move. Second.
Motion to approve from Alderman Callahan, a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. And now just mayor's comments, just a couple of things here. One on committee appointments. Slight little change right here to this one. Want to just, Alderman, go to number 1, which is appointing Frank Collins to the historic, he's on the Historic Zoning Commission currently, but beginning October 2021, which I guess is tomorrow, will be his first meeting, to fill the unexpired term due to the commissioner's resignation. So if you would, and we'll probably have another one next month. Had a verbal conversation with Emma Treadway, and she plans on spending some time in Florida, and she's just kind of spreading herself out. But Emma is a great volunteer for our town, and so she might be addressing the commission tomorrow. So we'll see about that. Right now, it's appoint Frank Collins to fill the unexpired term. May I get a motion to appoint Frank?
So moved.
Got a
Second.
motion to approve from Alderman Countermine, a second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? All right, call for the vote. Madam Recorder?
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, very good, and I think that fulfills an obligation that our planning commission has, so glad to see that get filled, and Frank's participation in that. Our next item on the agenda is our Employee of the Month, and we've got an impressive one. So may I have Susan Catcode come forward, please? I don't think she knew why she was here. I thought you was here for Virginia to talk about yourself. Well, I get to read what they said about you, and it was all impressive. Susan Capco joined the Senior Center staff in 2018 to launch our My Ride Tennessee Jonesborough program. After 3 years, the program is a huge success and has provided 2,800 rides since started in December 2018. The program has provided 33,000 miles of transportation and has served 95 seniors, with that number growing weekly. Susan is a huge part of the program's success. Her true passion for serving others is evident in the way she treats everyone she works with. With each new rider, she sees an opportunity to not only help them with transportation, but to connect with them and offer them a kind ear, a thoughtful card, and someone who genuinely cares. Susan sends each of the riders a birthday card and checks on them regularly through phone calls. Yeah, a lot to say about it. And she sends notes in the mail as well. Susan not only stays in contact with homebound seniors who use My Ride, she also does the same thing with My Ride drivers. That is why My Ride Tennessee Jonesborough has more volunteers than any other My Ride program in Northeast Tennessee. Thank you for that. Her cards, phone calls, recognition events for the volunteering makes this opportunity enjoyable for the riders and drivers. Susan spends times with the driver when they come in to check in, provides ongoing training opportunities, and is in tune to what is going on in their lives. Susan is a true godsend to this program. We had worked with her previously when she had been a volunteer at the Senior Center, and she was the absolute best pick for this position. Having Susan Capco on our Senior Center staff is truly a blessing to all of those who work with her. Not only does she manage the My Ride program, she also takes the rides in the event a driver has a conflict at the last minute. Her goal is to never turn anyone away that we can provide service to. That commitment to service was very important through the pandemic. The program had even more requests for transportation, reaching a record number of 120 in the month of July. That's why they wanted to recommend Susan Cato, My Ride Transportation Coordinator, as Employee of the Month. And that's married to Senior Center staff right there. We appreciate that. Anything you want to say about your program or what you do?
Just that the reason the program is so successful is the volunteers. They are the biggest hearted people I've ever met, and I thank God for them.
Thank you. All right, that's really about all I've got, except I'm excited about all the plans our marketing and tourism department has for, the holiday season coming up here in October. And I know we've got making some good plans for the Christmas season, so everybody be on the lookout for all of those events and things going on in Jonesborough. All right, Alderman, you got anything you want to say to the community tonight?
I would like to say thank you to Craig, or to Mr. Ford and to Mr. Rosenoff for working with me through some of these items in this agenda. I know I'm difficult with them sometimes, but they are awesome.
I did not say that.
And I would like to thank them for the infectious control disease policy that they come up with. It's excellent.
Yeah, I read through that. Very good, guys. We do have a great team here.
Mayor, I'd like to, a couple of things. First off, I'd like to publicly express condolences to the family of Jerome and Lorianne Fitzgerald and the loss of their mother, Joanne Fitzgerald. And when you think about Jonesborough, there's a few people that I would label as special characters. And Joanne Fitzgerald was no doubt a special character. If you ever went by Malk's store, you might catch her sitting down at Malk's, or just a larger than life presence. And so we will certainly miss her. Again, fond memories of Reverend Fitzgerald, Reverend Gentry Fitzgerald, her husband. So we will miss her. And again, condolences to Jerome and Lorianne and the family. and Starlin, Harold, again, large family here in town. Also, just wanted to say, again, kudos to our town administrator for the downtown loan program and the movement being made there, and that's real exciting to me to think that that we're on a path, I guess I should say, to work with our downtown businesses and hopefully see some collaboration with financial institutions to help downtown businesses get off the ground. I think that's very positive and creative ways to promote economic development here in town. So I just thought that was real exciting to see.
Thank you, Adam, and I agree with, talked to Jerome just a couple of days ago about the passing of his mother, and the Fitzgerald family is, one of the, I won't say few, but many special, families we've had here in Jonesborough for many, many years, and we certainly do, wish all of them the best. Terry?
Well, just how good the downtown looks and seeing a lot of people down there, that it's that time of the year that businesses should profit quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I thank our staff for making the downtown look as good as it does.
Yeah. It's always nice to be driving through town at night and you see people out there walking. The store, the shops might be closed at 9 o'clock, but people are walking, just enjoying the atmosphere downtown. Stephen, you got anything?
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
Mayor, can I just have just 1 minute? I was going to get Alderman Countermine to yield, but I don't know if that's proper parliamentary procedure to yield to the town administrator.
I yield to
I just wanted to give all our employees are great. EBM PAPS, landed in Washington County, new industry, very exciting. Think about looking at a couple hundred employees, maybe over the next 5 years, and there have been some timelines that we've been working on to work infrastructure in, whether it's permanent or temporary. So I just wanted to give kudos to our utilities for getting in water and sewer to get it to the site. It's very exciting, but I think we perform miracles that sometimes we got to pat ourselves on the back, even though I didn't physically do it. So our workers just give them a pat on the back, and Kevin leading them, and it's just those times where you're like, I don't know if it's, you almost don't want to tell them it can't happen, but it made it happen, and also with County Mayor Joe Grandy, just the team just leading it to where our industry needs something, and we made it happen. So it was a good, I guess, couple of weeks that we had to get some things done.
Very good. Thank you for breaking in and saying that, because that's certainly all true. And that industrial park's important for our community, and we do serve that far outside of our town limits, but it's important to the community. And I guess the county's also attracted another new tenant for the the old Bush Hog building. Which is
So
one of the
that's
nicest buildings.
Sungwoo High Tech.
Yeah, it sounds like a very good company that they've landed. So things are getting brighter and brighter down there, and the industrial park's expanding.
Those
so that's good.
combined could be a potential 300 employees.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll find them a place to live around here.
That's right.
Or elsewhere, but we'll try and get them here. So
Mayor, with respect to that EBM PAPS project, distribution put in 1,500 feet of water line. They had 100 feet of rock.
Oh, wow.
1,500 feet of sewer line in 8 days?
Yes, sir.
8 days.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome.
Those guys did a great job.
I appreciate you all. All right. Thank you guys for your leadership on that. All right, now we go into town attorney comments, and Jim, you've got less opportunity to make, because they took your time. They didn't take out a Terry, so.
I'll keep mine short. We
Okay.
had two major projects going on this month with the school, the amendments to the lease, and the project budget. And obviously, that went well, and things got started and underway there. And then the JRT bond issue, which closed today, so that's been issued and funded. So we're on the roll there.
Yeah.
So those are the two big things. We're looking forward to getting things maybe quieted back down on the legal end and get back to some of our normal activity.
No doubt. All right. And I probably should talk a little bit about that. I know Mayor Grandy's here, and really, for the county commission to step forward and fund the school project in Jonesborough. It's huge for our community, but had the opportunity to hear Mayor Grandy speak recently, and he talked about the financial health of the county, how it's paying off debt at a pretty good rate. So Joe, we appreciate what you and the county commissioner are doing there to get our county healthier and healthier, and those things lead to being able to do a school project that's going to impact our area for 40 years. So appreciate the leadership from all you. All right, now we'll go into citizens' comments. For anyone here, one of our water customers or lived in the city limits of Jonesborough would like to speak to us, you're welcome to come forward. Anyone have anything you'd like to say tonight? All right. All right. Come on, Jack, just give us your name and address.
Jack Van Zandt, 164 New Halifax Street, and just wanted to add to your accolades for your employees. They're redoing the streets down there, doing a great job as much as they can. They're moving traffic through. Also in Forest Circle, we had a problem out there with picking up stuff, picking up I guess the trash or the leaves and stuff out there and branches. They got out there and did a great job. I mean, they worked on that thing all day. So really think they're doing a great job. And also I wanted to talk a minute about Heritage Alliance. When I went on board there, I wasn't sure all the things they did. I think the most important thing I'm seeing, of course, they collect history, they document buildings, they document different things. But one of the most important things they do is education. They do it in unique ways with the school, with actors in period dress. They do it with special programs designed for the classroom, and they package things up for teachers, make it better. And they're finding all different ways to communicate our history to our children. And I think that's an important thing, and it's one of the things I've learned since I joined the board. So I just thought I'd let you know that they're really working for the town as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you, Jack. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move into some old business now. It's just discussion and action, possible action concerning a second and final reading of an ordinance annexing property at the corner of Ben Gamble Road and State Route 81 North upon request of property owner, and he was here tonight to speak to us. Appreciate you wanting to come into the town of Jonesborough. Alderman, you got any questions about that? If not, I'll take a motion.
Move to approve, Mayor.
All right.
Second.
A motion to approve from Alderman Dixon, a second from Alderman Countermine. Any
We have to do
discussion?
3 separate ones or just the?
Need to take those all three at one time, Jim? Is that okay?
That is okay.
Okay. Be recommendations 1, 2, and 3. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Mayor, you do need to approve the plan of services separately.
Okay. All right. Town of Jonesborough just grew by 1.8 acres, and now we're going to where's that in there? Which recommendation?
It's number one.
recommendation number 1, just approve the
Okay,
plan of
so
services.
separate that out. We need to approve the plan of services for the annexed property at Ben Gamble Road and Highway 81 North.
So moved.
Got a motion to approve that from Alderman Callahan,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
And Mayor, I apologize. When you said all three, I thought you were talking about the parcel numbers.
Okay.
So you've done the ordinance, you've done the plan of services, and now if you just do the approve the zoning of the property to R1A.
All right. May I get a motion to approve that property's zoning as R1A?
So moved.
Second. Got a motion to approve from Alderman Causey, second from Alderman Callahan. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Mayor, may I make just comment to Mr. Deacons? Just you were going to work on the plating.
Yes.
So I was just saying, okay, just let me know when it's ready for review. Okay.
All right. This group of aldermen here, they can get you tongue-tied because it's almost like a law firm. You got Causey, Callahan, Countermine, and Dixon up here, so it's like. It can get us.
We don't use much of the alphabet.
Yeah, we'll elect you by alphabetical order.
Yeah.
All right, next item on the agenda is 6B, is discussion and possible action concerning second and final reading of an ordinance replacing the municipal code Title 13, Chapter 2, sewer and wastewater treatment in its entirety. I saw a note in there that the BMA is considering the ordinance with the one edit on second and final reading. Anything in that, Jim, I need to spell out?
No, sir, you captured the caption, so that's
All
fine.
right, Alderman, you got any questions about that? If not, I'll take a motion.
So move.
Motion to approve from Alderman Callahan,
Second.
second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
All right, motion carried. Now we're going to move into our new business. And this is just tying up some loose ends that we'd asked our staff to look at. And this is discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution amending the outdoor use policy. Quite a few things in there that we're just tightening up. Alderman, any questions about that? If not, I'll take a motion.
So move.
A motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
Second.
Got a second from Alderman Causey. Is any discussion?
Just one thing, are we sending a letter out to the present permit holders, letting them know that they have to renew every year?
Yes.
That's fine.
That'll be real important to make sure that happens, because I can see if we didn't and somebody just
Absolutely.
forgets, so
Yeah.
put that in your phone.
Yeah.
I'll text it to you.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Now we move into 7B1. It's discussion and possible action concerning approval of a discussion and possible action concerning the barn and land lease agreements. And that's something we've done for many years, so see the background there. I get a motion to approve the barn lease with Mitch Triplett, please.
So move.
Motion to approve from Alderman Countermine,
Second, Mayor.
second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
All right, motion carried, and just a background on that, that's property we don't currently use. It eliminates the need for our staff to mow and maintain that section under the lease. Puts a reliable person on the property to kind of keep an eye on it, and Mitch raises corn and pumpkins that we use for fall decorations in town, so it comes in handy. All right, the next one is
The other parcel.
the water intake, the other part, the 12 acres. Same background. May I get a motion to approve that, 7B2?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve from Alderman Causey, a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Motion carried. All right, next item on our agenda is discussion and possible action concerning first reading of an ordinance amending Title 11, Chapter 5 of the Jonesborough Municipal Code Section 11-519, which is the B2 Central Business District. And I asked Glenn a few little questions about that, just to make sure how it impacted any existing residences down there, and I think he addressed that. Glenn, do you mind giving us a little background on this? And
Sure. So, in the B2 zone right now, basically our central business district, typically your central business district, you won't trend towards people on the bottom floors as far as residential uses. Typically, it's going to be the upper floors. And so, but just looking at really historically, whether it be Jonesborough or other communities, if we don't have something to protect and preserve the lower floors for commercial uses or our storefronts or, our commerce, then someone can come in and make it a residential. This proposal went to the Planning Commission. They recommended approval. Of course, this is the first reading before you. My recommendation is to really consider it for adoption so that as we continue to grow our downtown, retain our commercial entities, attract new entities. We have so much space, it's not gonna be recreated, it is what we have. So this is a way to protect the lower floors to being commercial and encouraging the upper floors to be residential. Of course, if you want to do commercial and commercial, the whole building, then that's
Right.
fine.
Well, I think that's good, because, yeah, you can assume that commercial will always stay that way, but not necessarily. Who knows what can happen 5 or 10 years down the road? Somebody buys the building, they might decide to do something else with it, and I think we've had that happen, but it doesn't impact any residential areas or homes or buildings
We have just the
downtown.
homes, and downtown, there's a few that, maybe a couple that are on the bottom floors that are residential, I think,
Yes.
in use.
Sue Henley, that's what I was
Sue
thinking.
Henley, yeah, next to Lollipop.
Yeah.
So no, that's been historically the way it's been. The homes are residential in nature, so those are residential.
Okay.
So mostly you're talking about our commercial buildings downtown.
Yeah, very good. Alderman, any comments on that? If not, I'll take a recommendation or a motion. Got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
Second.
Second from Alderman Callahan. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, moving along. 7D, discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution for a revision to the Ernest L. McKinney Scholarship Fund.
Mayor, I move to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a motion to approve from Alderman Dixon, a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion?
Jim,
Go ahead.
I would say, Jim, could you explain it a little bit about the working with her and how that will work?
On the changes, I've not actually had any conversation with Ms. McKinney on this, but I am aware that conversations have been had and that she's fine with this change, which would just, would take it all the way to the 12th grade. One of the benefits that was discussed early on, and again, I haven't been involved in the later discussions, but would be that the fundraising then could be focused on the McKinney Scholarship Fund for grades K through 12, so that they're not having to raise money for two separate scholarship funds or something like that. They can focus their efforts on one scholarship fund.
Is there an amount we have to get to before we can use the fund?
No, sir. And this would be separate and apart from the foundation. And with everything we've had going on with the school and the JRT, unfortunately, we've not been able to, we got everything we need. We just have to fill it out, get it in front of you all. And we just have not been able to get that to the front burner. But we've certainly been talking about it, and we know we need to. But the foundation would raise money, and money's coming from the foundation would go to this McKinney Scholarship Program. So we need to get this in place first anyway,
Okay.
the
Thank you.
changes to it.
And that's going to be so exciting.
Yeah.
To have the Ernest McKinney Endowment and to be able to, raise money in perpetuity and the earnings from the interest could go back to the McKinney Scholarship Fund and really help. It's real exciting to me, and I think it's a great way to remember Mr. McKinney and the McKinney family, but also to help a lot of young children in our community that needs-based and expose them to opportunities to thrive and grow. So I think it's outstanding, and the fact that the town of Jonesborough is leading on this, I think is very positive. Something to showcase to the region that how Tennessee's oldest town comes together to make things happen. So.
If I
Absolutely.
can just add one
Yep.
more thing, also with Teresa Hammond's director, McKinney Center, when we first talked about the resolution, looking back at it afterwards, you start getting educated that the impact of the McKinney Center is way beyond Washington County.
Oh, yeah.
There's no real boundary to it, so this change helps out both really geography and age groups, so it's a much more beneficial scholarship fund.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if we as a board realize it. I don't know if town staff realizes it, but I think this is something to always remember when we think about the McKinney Center. The building was built to divide. And now there is a concerted effort to create programs and initiatives in that building to unite and bring together.
Absolutely.
There's a positive way to move forward, and that's the reason that we're trying to get the cash together, because there's a positive way to move forward on a lot of these issues that have a potential to be very disruptive and divisive. There's a positive way to move forward, and this is one option to make that happen. So I hope we realize we're doing something really good and positive for our community. So.
Thank you, Adam. Yep, this is one of the many things up there. And just to kind of read out the proposed change here that we're voting on. The purpose of the scholarship fund will be to assist with tuition for children kindergarten through 12th grade who would otherwise be unable to do so for financial reasons to attend classes at the Mary B. Martin Program for Arts at the McKinney Center in Jonesborough, Tennessee. So that's what we're doing here. So we've got a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Carter.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution authorizing the issuance of an interest-bearing police department capital outlay note, Series 2021, the amount not to exceed $480,000. It's the, any discussion on that, Alderman? Is this for the vehicles?
Yes, this is the budgeted item from last budget, and I believe we found the other additional car that was mentioned during the budget. That probably a bad joke, but
How many cars?
I can't remember how many cars now that I'm joking about it.
All right. Alderman, you see the recommendation there. I'll take a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
Mayor, I'll second.
Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion?
Well, we talked about this during budget and approved it, so this is formal.
Yep. All right. Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Carter.
Aye.
Motion carried. Discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution authorizing the issuance of an interest-bearing fire department capital outlay note, Series 2021, in the amount not to exceed $500,000. And that's for, I think, a new fire truck, right?
Correct, fire truck, 10-year term.
That's right. And fire trucks are not cheap, but they serve a very important purpose in our community. Any comments, Alderman? If not, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman Callahan.
Second.
Second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, Madam Recorder.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye. Excuse me.
All right, motion carried. This item, Glenn, I'll let you speak to this just briefly, but discussion and possible action concerning additional appropriations in regards to nonprofit organizations. And Alderman, as you can see the recommendation there, since we've not received any funds through the ARPA at present, we've not seen any way we can utilize these funds at this point. Glenn, do you want to speak to that, scenario 3 that you're recommending?
Sure. So just a brief background, as some folks may not know what we're discussing, but a couple of times during the budget process, some organizations came up in discussion about potential funds or justification for additional funds as such. And those looking at those organizations and the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, came up as far as COVID monies. And based on the background that I've provided, the town itself has not received any of that, any of those monies. The last I checked, as far as completing the paperwork, and I've done that, I don't know how many weeks ago, I've double-checked, I've done everything I'm supposed to do. So right now, as far as, call it COVID-19 related funds through the ARPA, we don't have any at this time. There's no money's provided, it's not in our bank account. So my recommendation was to, with scenario 3, which is basically we've not received funds through the ARPA at present. We're assessing the town infrastructure improvements that are potentially eligible for ARPA funding. For instance, we know water, sewer, stormwater are kind of those eligible ones that keep being continued to be talked about. And once we've identified and prioritized town improvements like water, sewer, stormwater, streets, sidewalks, parks, et cetera, I'll report back the estimated cost for improvements, and based on those costs, provide a potential remainder or balance of funds at that point. Again, it's just it's kind of like doing the budget where I'm just anticipating or projecting. I know that we'll receive over 1.6 million, and that I'm gonna say that seems like a lot. It is. Both, just talk to utilities alone, water and sewer, that money would go very fast to priority water and sewer projects, for instance. So where we're standing, I don't know, but I'm waiting to see the money coming in, and then I can give a list of priorities and then bring it before the board and see whether or not there's any additional monies.
And one thing I think the state's wanting to do too, the state's actually going to match, or that's their plan, if the municipalities use it for infrastructure like water and sewer. So it could be that 1.6 is offset with even some more money from the state if we use it for infrastructure. So it's probably a reason to kind of, we know we got to expand our water treatment facility at some point, and that won't be.
Yeah, we should be having a presentation at a workshop that I'll be sending out an email about on as far as our entire water distribution system and our capacities and treatment plants and such. So at this time, we have no money in the bank to provide for tie any projects to it yet.
Okay. Alderman, any comments? If not, you see the recommendation before you. I'll take a motion on the recommendation.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, got a motion to approve recommendation by Alderman Countermine,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to, along with what Jack says, because I'm on the Heritage Alliance Board and I work closely with Karen, and it's those organizations that we're wanting to help need help. So I encourage us to try to find, because they suffered during the pandemic.
Right.
And all three of them are so important to our town. Sort of like the McKinney Center. The people who use it know how important it is, and others don't. But the farmers market or the Boone Street Market brings a lot of people into town. And the Heritage Alliance, as Jack said, just does a lot of stuff. Most people aren't even aware of it, except they see the tours going on in town. But I just support us helping them if we can.
Well, I agree. I saw Ann Mason with the Heritage Alliance. She stepped in for a Cameo when Cameo had to be going out of town, and we had, I think, the Chamber of Commerce and young people that starting with them came through town. There's probably 20 or 25 of them, and had the opportunity to speak with them. But Ann was the one who stepped up to kind of lead them on a tour through town, and she always does a great job, speaking about her town. So
And the Boone Street Market is like a second welcome center, because people walk downtown and stop in there.
So we just need to keep an eye on it as funds come alive. So
I do want to say, as well as even before the meeting, probably for the last month, talking back and forth a couple different times with like USDA rural development on any kind of business grants or anything that's funneling from that, basically through the federal organizations, on whether it's a nonprofit or even a downtown merchant, or someone who's for profit.
yeah,
So other
Opposite of
sources
not for profit. So
other
those
sources of funds.
right, other sources of funds. So not just while we're waiting, I'm not sitting by idly sitting by as others are requesting funds. I'm looking for other avenues that are potentials.
very good. We'll keep looking out for that and looking for opportunities. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Call for the vote.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
All right, motion carried. All right, the last item on our agenda, discussion and possible action concerning the appointment of a finance director, town recorder. And we had the sad retirement, but we're happy for her. Abby Miller has been very valuable to the town of Jonesborough and kind of laid a great foundation for us to be in probably the best financial position we could be in at this time. But Glenn and Craig and our board searched, and we think we found the right guy for the job. And so the motion owner is Mr. Pat Ryder. and I asked him if he wanted to get up and introduce himself to us. So Pat, you mind jumping up and telling us about yourself? I think you kind of sat in here for a few days, and you can kind of tell us about that a little bit.
Thank you, Mayor, Alderman. So this is day 4. I've worked at Eastman since moving here from Texas in '08. I live right up Boones Creek, and was in energy trading in Houston before that, and in banking. So finance my whole life. 4 kids. I used to trunk or treat in Jonesborough. I wore a Yoda costume many years ago. So this is home, and I feel honored and blessed to be able to help my neighbors. And I appreciate the opportunity, Glenn and Craig, for having faith in me to nominate me to the board, and I look forward to working together with everybody. And for those of you who haven't met, look forward to meeting you soon. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you. Welcome.
All right, you got a discussion of possible action. We've got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
Second.
Second from Alderman Causey. Any other discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Callahan.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
All right, motion carried, and I think we got the right guy to help lead us to the next level going forward. And I guess that's a wrap. Meeting adjourned.